believe that the movie only had the red parkas for a couple of minutes. And it was just worn by two characters. The look on the hardcore fans who actually bought the red parkas. Oh my god. By the way, I believe someone actually predicted this on a Facebook group. So I just got off from watching Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I actually finished watching it twice already, and I gotta say that I did enjoy it a bit more the second time I watched it. But I do feel like they shouldn't have made another one. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Ghostbusters and I love every time that they give us something new. But the third one actually gives it a very wonderful conclusion, and it didn't look like it needed a fourth. But movie studios aren't gonna listen to a skinny boy's opinion. And I was willing to watch a new one if it got released, because honestly, as I said, I love Ghostbusters. And here we are. By the way, spoilers, because I am very bad at keeping it quiet. So Ghostbusters Frozen Empire takes off 2 years after Ghostbusters Afterlife, but now we're back in New York City. The new team has been busting for a while, and they do make that kind of obvious. A new threat comes to town, or should I say it's been unleashed. And the Ghostbusters, all of them, must step in once again to stop this worldwide enemy. Maybe not worldwide, because I really didn't feel it that way. And you know, I hate to say this, but they kind of pulled the Jurassic World Dominion. They did a bunch of advertising, making this look like a big time super event. I actually went to Walmart to look for merchandise for Ghostbusters, which I didn't find any. But I actually did buy this collectible cup from the theater, and take a look, it lights up. But man, like, you know what happened to this movie? And look, the movie isn't bad. It's good. I enjoyed it. It made me laugh a couple of times. And I'm not gonna say it's horrible either. It's good, and I think it's all I can say. But they do stretch the story pretty much. Like, I know character development is important, you know, get to know the villain's backstory, what's going on, you know. But I do feel like they overdo it. Look, I'm aware that Ghostbusters 1 actually kind of does the same, but it has a better rhythm to it. So like, I think it would have been okay if they just used the opening scene and, you know, a little bit explaining of the orb, and we would have just kicked off to the action. But they just keep giving you more backstory, they keep teasing the appearance of the villain, and like, we don't get to see him until like the last 15 minutes. I felt that we saw like very few ghost busting. And you know, like, ghost busting is what makes Ghostbusters Ghostbusters. And the times we see it, I feel like it's just like a matter of seconds situation. I do have to say that I love the way Winston expanded the HQ. He made the PRC. It's just a whole new extension to the Ghostbusters universe. But I also think that we saw very little of it. I would have loved more scenes with the engineers doing some research, tweaking the packs. We barely saw the slime blower. It was just like more like an Easter egg. And you know, like the new packs, I didn't feel like they upgraded them too much, because they kind of did the same thing. Except for the one Phoebe tweaks. I mean, she did add a little something there, and the proton stream comes out differently, which is cool. The fact that the characters keep saying the opposite to each other kind of exhausted me, because they were like, Phoebe, you're too young, you can't go ghost busting. Ray, don't you see? We're old, man, we can't do this anymore. And you know, then they're like, oh, Phoebe, come on, you're ready to be a Spangler again? Come on, let's go bust, even if you're young. Ray, let's get to work, man. Yeah, that was something like, I don't know what to say about it. I also think that it wasn't a Winston thing to do when he started yelling at Phoebe, and then at the end, he's like, oh, thanks to Phoebe, the world is safe again, and we're back as Ghostbusters. I mean, yeah, that was just like, I don't know. But overall, I think the Phoebe getting rejected storyline kind of did work for me. I don't know, I feel like it worked. But it is something we saw in Afterlife. Phoebe trying to fit in, and they kind of repeated the whole thing here. I mean, I think they got stuff from Afterlife and they brought it back over here, and that's probably my problem, which actually made me feel like it didn't work for me because I already saw it before. Phoebe meeting a ghost while playing chess. Oh, and the reason this Garaka escapes his chamber is because of Phoebe. Because she wanted to know how does it feel to be deceased. I know most of us are kind of like curious to know what that feels, but I feel it was kind of like the only excuse to have this ghost girl in the story, which looks like Phoebe is attracted to her. And then she leaves the same way Egon does in Afterlife. Oh, and the containment unit blows up once again. And it gets locked up pretty fast. You know, I imagined this movie a very different way. I'm gonna give my pitch. Probably in the first 30 minutes, everything starts to blow up. The whole world freezes over. Then the Ghostbusters have to be silent, almost like, I don't know, secret agents go in an incognito mode. You know, like they have to go searching for answers to know how to destroy Garaka. But, you know, we actually spend more time in the firehouse than in any other place. And so we really don't see the consequences of this new ice age, which barely lasted a couple of minutes. They said lives were at stake. I mean, we did see frozen people crack, but it was like, oh, we just get this one dude in present time that actually dies, and that's pretty much it. And I really didn't feel it like something menacing. And I was at a point of this movie, I was like, damn, is this gonna be a 2-part movie? Because we were like an hour and a half of story development and we barely got any action, and I was like, geez, these guys are gonna die and we're not gonna see what happens to them until part 2. But no, they actually solve everything pretty quickly. And did I tell you that this is becoming the Avengers? The Ghostbusters now have a superhero or a god, but honestly, I don't know, I don't feel it fits into place. I mean, the Ghostbusters are the superheroes in their own way, so I really don't think that they actually need a god on their side. And you know, it's actually the reason that the Ghostbusters survive, because this fire god actually melts Garaka and unfreezes the Ghostbusters. And it's kind of like up to Phoebe again to destroy him. And you know, the old Ghostbusters make the containment unit into a giant trap, which kind of feels like the same way in Afterlife, with all those multiple traps becoming a big trap. So yeah, I do feel like the third act was pretty rushed, and I do know that a lot of footage was cut, and I really hope we get at least an extended cut when the Blu-ray comes out. Stuff like Lucky freezing, an alteration in the firehouse when it's freezing, the scene where the whole team has all the red parkas. I feel like it lacked ghost busting. I mean, we did have it, but I still feel like it, I don't know. I guess they just promised a lot and didn't give us what we were expecting. Oh, you know, and the post-credit scene is just for laughs. I mean, it's not really something that I would consider important. I do appreciate that they used the old intro and they actually used it twice. That was pretty cool. I did get emotional when I saw that, as the same way I did in Afterlife. Seeing that intro is always going to be a delight. Heck is now mayor. That caught me by surprise and it was pretty funny. But like, there's barely any conflict between him and the Ghostbusters. And then they actually become frenemies at the end, which is hilarious, but I don't know, I just would have wanted to see them fight a little bit more. You know, like if anything, the Ghostbusters fight between themselves. Oh, and don't expect a lot of Bill Murray. I mean, we've seen like pretty much all of his footage in the TV spots, trailers. That's about it. So once again, it's not a bad movie. It's good, but we didn't get what we were promised. I think they overhyped us, and that could have been the problem. I am gonna buy the Blu-ray though, I mean, that's a must-have. But I think that they should leave it here. I mean, that's just my guess. They're not gonna listen to me anyway. You know, I guess only Jason is kind of capable of doing these movies now. But that is just my opinion, those are just my thoughts. Did you guys enjoy Ghostbusters Frozen Empire? Tell me in the comments below. Like, subscribe to this channel, follow me on TikTok and Instagram, links are down below. I am Louie, thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope everyone is doing okay, and I will see you guys until next time. Woo! Look at that. See ya.